Kids! Welcome to our J3 blog activity. To start with, I am Shelami Empany and your host. Now, my task for this afternoon is to discuss the powers of international organization. For that, let's define first what is international organization. When we say international organization, it is a combination of different countries. Is it international organization is a global government? Yes. Europe and United States and ASEAN is an example of international organization. When we say power of classification, it is the one who help international organization to classify or determine one country to another country if it is good or not, or therefore or rich. Power to fix meaning, it is a broad function. It means to say that we can classify the one country or a nation. We need to know them first. We need to get their meaning first. If their country is abundant, if their country is good, if their country is more of population or not. So that's the fixed meaning, power of fixed meaning. The last one is power to diffuse norms. We can spread the norms or accept the norms of one country to another country, but we cannot enforce them. Like for example, the police officers have no right to enforce the country.
So, good day. Our topic is discuss and differentiate the organs of the United Nations. So, first is what are the organs of the United Nations? So, the United Nations have six main organs of the United Nations. First is General Assembly. General Assembly is serving as the main deliberative, or there are headquarters in New York, and this is the part to help the people or etc. Like um, everything do for the people. So second is Security Assembly. This is charged with ensuring international peace and security. So the, this this council convenes at any time, um, and whenever peace it whenever peace is threatened or help for me. So third is Economic and Social Council. Responsible for This is responsible for coordinating the this is a coordination of the economic, social, humanitarian, and cultural activities out by the UN. Third is fourth is Trustship Council. So this supervise administration, and this is the under the charter. The Trustship Council is authorized to examine the administrative authority on the political, economic, social, and educational. So fifth is Secretariat Council. This is Secretariat Council. Sorry for the wrong spelling. Secretariat Council is substance and administrative This is kind of assist in decision making rather in government by ensuring interministerial coordination. And last is International Court of Law. It settles disputes and international law. So this part of council, this part of the organs in the United Nations is in accordance with international law. Um, advisory opinions on on legal questions referred to it by international law.
Good day, sir. My name is Jan Medium Polistico Ador, and I'm going to discuss about the most powerful organ of United Nations. United Nations Security Council is the most powerful organ of the United Nations. The decisions taken by the Council are known as United Nations Security Council resolutions. Unlike other organs of the United Nations, Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charters gives power security councils to fulfill company with its responsibility, enforcing actions in case of threats to the peace, breach of the peace, or acts of aggression. Security Council has its international military force, which is used for applying military sanctions. It may apply diplomatic, economic, and other sanctions. So, what is United Nations? United Nations, the name of United Nations is coined by United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Was first used in the declaration by United Nations of the 1st January 1, 1942 during the Second World War, when representatives of 26 nations pledged their government to continue fighting together against the Axis powers. During the Second War, the great power have started making efforts for the establishment of organizations like United Nations. Their efforts led to the holding of the San Francisco Conference, in which the United Nations Charters has adopted and signed by 51 nations of the world. The Charter, after being ratified by China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, the United States, and majority of other signatories came into force on October 24, 1945. Thus, the United Nations was finally established. So, what is importance of United Nations?
Good day everyone, and welcome to my educational vlog. I am Binmar King Olas, and in this vlog, I'm going to answer the lesson number 5, question number 1, which is discuss and differentiate comprehensively state regionalism and non-state regionalism. Let's start. So regionalism is a political ideology that aims to provide people in one or more substantial regions more political power, influence, and self-determination. The goal is to create a political and social framework that based on one or more areas. Regionalism refers to 3 distinct elements, which are movements demanding territorial autonomy like the unitary state, the organizational central state of a nation on a regional basis for the delivery of its policies, including regional developments, and political decentralization and regional autonomy. While ethnic group or nation does not have its own state, and it's not the majority population in any state, and which is referred to a non-state nation. The Amish and several indigenous tribes are instances of stateless states. A stakeholder or force in a discussion, minor parts respectively, is referred to a non-state actor. So in conclusion, Non-state actors include individuals, organizations having social, political, and economic ability to influence national and international policy, but are not affiliated of any country, such as NGOs, international or intergovernmental organization. State institutions are those through approval of the backing of central government and are part of the formal state structure. Non-state institutions and those functions outside state structural formats backing and endorsement. Yet, they can be recognized to some extent inside it. The state, however, will clearly present at the people horizons, and where there are multiple references to the state as an idea, as the bigger whole of which people were a part.
NATO is a child of the Cold War. NATO is a military alliance consisting of 28 member states. The members are located in North America and Europe. NATO was established upon the signing of the North Atlantic Treaty on April 4, 1949. Said in Article 5, provides that if NATO ally is the victim of an armed attack, each and every other member of the alliance will consider this act of violence as an armed attack against all members and will take the action it deems necessary to assist the ally attack. NATO operations are governed by its 28 member states, with each sending a delegation to NATO headquarters in Brussels. This includes each delegation having permanent representative on the North Atlantic Council, which is chaired by the Secretary General and has decision-making power. The Parliamentary Assembly sets NATO's broad strategic goals. The Military Committee is responsible for recommending measures considered necessary for the common defense of the NATO area and is made up of military representatives.
NATO has two sides, the negative and the positive. The positive side of NATO is NATO ensures or guarantees the security and freedom of the allied members. Due to NATO and the unity of the allied countries, there are peace, and also because of NATO and its allied countries who has a military forces, especially the UN. The Cold War ended and brought peace. The negative side of NATO was due to the alliance of UN who has a powerful military forces. It controls tactically the Europe because of NATO. And also, NATO who makes a military basis in every basis is very expensive because there are lots of military bases in the Europe that cost a lot of money to maintain. The alliance of NATO only depends on US military because only US has the capability and have a powerful military forces. So if there are instances that the US leaves the alliance of NATO, the possible outcome would be the NATO will lose its power.
So, my name is Sean Witzboy Gio Batante, and my partner is Paul Lawrence Alesna. So, we're gonna tackle about the organization of OPEC. So, OPEC is the organization of the petroleum exporting countries. So, it's an organization which they have a petroleum and they are exporting. However, the problem before is that they have a different prices on a different country, and they have also different method on how to get an oil. Because of this organization does actually control the price of oil, meaning the price of oil in the world market is basically based on this organization, which is the OPEC. So OPEC is a group of consisting 14 major in exporting nations. OPEC is founded in 1960 to coordinate the petroleum policies of its member and to provide the states with technical and economic aid. So let's talk about the history of OPEC. On 1960 was a time of globalizing oil markets, and that time demand is growing. But oil producing countries work as one benefiting. In other words, they have only one technique in order to produce oil. Global production and price were controlled by 7 oil companies, which is the Esso, Mobil, Shell, Texas, Gulf, Standard, and BP Company. These are the oil companies in the inside of OPEC organizations. As a result, they are the ones who decide the price of oil. For example, this country is pricey and the other country is underpriced. Or
In 1970, restriction in oil production led to dramatic rise in oil price. It increased the price especially when economies are in high demand and OPEC had much less oil to supply. Those OPEC should raise. But in 1973, OPEC introduced an oil embargo. The crude oil price was terrible, and the time OPEC accounted for the half of oil supply, and OPEC lost influence in 1980s. However, in 1987, it is the first time concept of the domestic crude market. Lastly, OPEC play a role in global oil politics. OPEC actually plays the role in global oil politics. When an organization runs the world. That's why they are powerful organization right now in existence.
Good day everyone, I am Atet Abilino and I'm about to discuss and comprehensively the reason of the establishment of Non-Aligned Movement, internationally organization dedicated to representing the interests and aspiration of developing countries. NAM has sought to create an independent path in the world of politics that would not result in member states becoming pawns in a struggle between the major powers. It identifies the right and independent judgment, the reason against imperialism and neocolonialism, and the use of moderation and relation with all big powers as the three basic elements that had influenced its approach. At the present, an additional goal in facilitating restructure of the international economic order. At this meeting, participants discussed the goal of a policy of non-alignment which were adopted as criteria for membership where was followed. The country should have adopted an independently policy based on the coexistence of states which different politics and social system, and non-alignment or should be showing a trend of favor such as policy and country concern should be constantly supporting the movements of national independence, and the country should not be member of multi-military alliance conclude in the context of a great power conflict.
Good day everyone, my name is Rico J. Ibangaan, and today we will talk about what is ASEAN. So what does ASEAN stands for? ASEAN stands for the Association of the Southeast Asian Nation. On August 8, 1967, ASEAN was finally established, signed by the founding fathers of ASEAN, namely the Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Philippines. It was established for a reason such as the acceleration of economic growth, social progress, and the cultural development in the region. And also, ASEAN wants to promote regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and in the rules of law in the relationship of the countries. That's what ASEAN